we're going to get into some optional class features. We're talking about Ranger right now. And the first thing the Rangers get is an ability which makes me want to play a Ranger.
Yeah.
And that's the Deft Explorer.
Yeah. And this takes out one feature and replaces it. And this is what the main thing about all these optional class features for the Ranger are, is they're replacing parts that people don't like, or you can now mix and match. And this one definitely gives you a whole slew of abilities that are, I think, more useful than what they originally had in the Player's Handbook.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to use some of these more than what was in the original Player's Handbook.
So, first of all, this replaces Natural Explorer. At first level, you can choose one skill proficiency, and then you get expertise with it, effectively. Because you double your proficiency bonus is doubled, and any ability checks you make with this chosen skill are doubled, and you get 2 languages. So this is more works towards an urban ranger than the nature ranger, because that's useful. That will always be useful. Really good at something.
That could also be useful even for a non-urban ranger, because maybe you're that ranger that's in the woods and you speak orc and goblin.
Yeah.
Because you're typically hunting them, or if you're in the mountains, you speak, giant or kobold or draconic. I mean,
definitely a very useful first level thing that you can always use. I mean, it's always going to be there, and having extra languages is definitely. I try to use in my campaigns to promote people from actually picking up languages that would matter, and try to sprinkle that into the campaign, so where somebody picks a language, they actually get to use it.
The next one is my favorite, and this one thing right here made me go, okay, I really want to play a Ranger, and I really want to use this, and that's the Roving. At 6th level, you gain your walking speed increases by 5 feet, and you gain a climbing speed and swimming speed equal to your walking speed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mobility. And mobility is always important in a game. The fact you can climb or swim anywhere without having to worry about, well, is my armor going to weigh me down? Or am I
going to have to roll an athletics check to see how far I can get?
You just spider climb your way. Well, not spider climb, but effectively just climb right on up that.
Yeah, but I mean,
thing. You know how to get there.
Urban or not urban, it'd be cool in battle to just be like, oh, I'm going to climb this tree. I'm going to get on top of this house.
Yeah, like, oh, you're trying to get away from me. Well, no, I can go up there just as fast as you. Or in a aquatic campaign, well, you always have a swim speed.
Yeah, so none of your attacks are going to be a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing. Like, if you're a pirate campaign and you fall off the boat, well, I have a swim speed. I'm not worried about this shark or anything like that. I can deal with them just as well as I could deal with something up there.
Yeah, and I love that feature.
Yeah, it's super strong. And now here's the next one. Tireless at 10th level. As an action, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points, D8 plus your wisdom modifier, and you can do it a number of times your proficiency, and you regain all of them when you finish a long rest. Well, here's the other part. That's cool. Temporary hit points are always nice, but here's the other part that I think is really good. In addition, whenever you finish a short rest, you remove 1 level of exhaustion. That in itself is really powerful.
Yeah, that's something a battle rager could have used.
Yes, some way to get rid of that.
Because the Battle Ranger class,
the Berserker.
Berserker, my bad. Yeah, the
Berserker subclass. Every time they rage, they get a level of exhaustion. Well, now there would be, but you have to be 10 levels of Rangers, so to get rid of it. But
I'm just saying that feature could have been in the class at some point, because getting a level of exhaustion is a huge detriment.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that you, as a DM, you hang over your players' heads going, well, if you push too far, you're going to start hurting yourselves by doing that. And there's definitely spells. I believe Ray of Sickness is one that gives levels of exhaustion.
Yes, it does.
And different ways to add that exhaustion, in different environments. And now this guy is saying, well, I can go on all the time.
Yeah, I'm so used to just naturally being on the move, going and hunting, or just doing things outdoors, that I can spend a short rest and remove an exhaustion if need be, and just I'm always like, oh, got this, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. These replace the Natural Explorer, and we won't go through reading that, but this is definitely an option that if you want to get a little more play out of your Ranger, if this is the only thing you change, this would make your Ranger feel entirely different from
completely
the player's handbook. Like you'll be able to do different things. You'll seem like an entirely different character. It's a really great option.
Yes, fantastic. And then let's see. The next optional class feature is Favored Foe. And this one is going to replace the Favored Enemy feature.
Yeah, which Favored Enemy is mostly you know a lot of stuff about the enemy you pick.
Yes.
What it is in the normal player's handbook. And this one, it's, well, I get to pick something and I do extra damage against it.
Yeah, so you essentially mark a creature in combat, and you get an extra D4 of damage every time you hit them, which at higher levels will increase a D6 at 6th level and a D8 at 14th level. And I feel like what this is really doing is it's saying, hey, you've got those spell slots, you're a half caster, you don't get a whole lot of spells or spell slots. Well, to make good use of those, instead of constantly spamming Hunter's Mark all the time, well, here, now you have a free Hunter's Mark, or a free mark, which you can do a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus.
Yep.
You regain all uses of those when you do a long rest, but here, you have a way to mark a creature without spending a spell slot, and you can use those spells for other things.
Yeah, and also it gives like the dual weapon fighting Ranger more oomph, because now they do extra damage with each hit.
Oh yeah.
Where most Rangers typically go the range route, so they can shoot, be far away. But now with the Favored Foe, if I'm going to get up close, then my extra attack doing another D4 on top of what it would normally do, or D6 or D8, that starts making that close combat Ranger that much better.
Yeah, and then you're saving those spell slots so you could still heal yourself or do other spells that could put you in a tactical advantage, or just out of combat stuff.
Yeah, it gives the Ranger more versatility, even though it's very focused. It allows them to do more versatility. Where the other players' handbook, I'm really good at knowing one thing. This is the thing I know.
This type of creature, I know them, and you might get a language out of it as well.
Yeah, you do get one language that they could speak. So different campaigns, different uses. This one definitely would be good for almost everything.
Yeah.
The next one is additional Ranger spells, but
this one isn't an option. They've just added more spells to the list. Entangled, Sneering Smite, Aid, Enhance Ability, fantastic. Gust of Wind, Magic Weapon, Summon Beast, always good.
Elemental Weapon, Meld into Stone, Revivify, that's big.
I didn't know they got Revivify, that is big.
Summon Fae, Dominate Beast, Summon Elemental, and Greater Restoration, so just more versatility and things that they can do. Always good, but we'll move on past that because you figure out the spells are good. Fighting style options, get Blind Fighting, Druidic War, which this is kind of cool, allows you to pick up a cantrip from the Druid class. Two cantrips. So instead of having where I'm really good at shooting things, well, now I can have, I can tell the direction of stuff. I forgot what spell that is.
Or you could have that Thorn Whip.
Or the Thorn Whip, yeah. You get definitely more versatility with that. And that's pretty cool.
Or maybe, you use this to produce your own fire so you can see in darkness and stuff like that. I mean, cantrips, it just depends on what you pick, but still, Rangers don't get any cantrips.
Yeah.
So now there's an option for you to get cantrips, and depending on what cantrip you get, can be combat reliant or out of combat or just extremely useful.
Yeah, which is mainly what the Ranger's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a very useful martial class, and this is just adding more to their tricks.
Yep. And then thrown weapon fighting. So
now you can be that hand axe throwing huntsman that's just running through the forest chunking hand axes at things. And it would fit really well with them.
All right, so the next thing is spellcasting focus, and you can use a druidic focus as a Spellcasting focus for your ranger spells.
Adds more of being that druidic. You're the more martial druid.
Yeah.
But the next one is really important.
Yeah.
Primal Awareness.
Yeah. The 3 we talked about a while ago, they don't replace anything, but this is one of the ones that does replace something.
Primal Awareness replaces Primeval Awareness. Primeval Awareness is like a radar kind of thing that you can use with spell slots that find things around you, which can be kind of annoying to DMs when they have to tell the ranger every time they use it what's around them.
Yeah, there's a dragon to your east. There are undead and some aberrations to the north, and there are orcs to the west.
Or just in general, you have those around you. Somewhere in there. But this one replaces it with spells that you can use, that you always have prepared. So that's another great thing, which we're always big about, having spells always prepared. You don't have to think about them, you don't have to use them, they're just there for you to use.
Yeah, and the spells you get is Speak with Animals at 3rd, Beast Sense at 5th, Speak with Plants at 9th, Locate Creature at 13th. I mean, Ranger, that's very important, especially if you're a hunter. Commune with Nature at 17th.
And what's interesting about those are they're all information gathering.
Yes.
It's all about it. It's basically the same thing as Primal Awareness, but now you do it in a different way. Well, now I just get to speak with animals, and I'll just ask that squirrel where he saw the last dragon at. And that squirrel will say, big scary lizard is up in the mountains. And then maybe you can talk that squirrel into showing you where that big dragon is instead of blindly having to find it. You can talk an animal into finding it for you.
Yeah.
Or beast sense. Well, you can sense the beast, which is the opposite of Primal Awareness. It doesn't sense beast, but this one does.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize this. You can cast each of these spells once without expending a spell slot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a bigger bonus over Primal Awareness, because Primal Awareness, you have to spend a spell slot for it to be used. This, you just get them. You just have them.
And you can cast each of them once without expending a spell slot, and then if you want to spend, you can expend spell slots to cast them more again, but still, that's wow. Yeah, so the fact that it's a free cast means you're more than likely going to use them more often.
Yeah.
Big advantage.
Yeah, big advantage.
The next one is Martial Versatility. It's not replacing anything, but what it does is anytime you gain a level that would get a ability score improvement, you can switch out your fighting style with a different fighting style.
Yeah. Which, to us, this one is more of that if you have it's Wizards giving permission to players to change something out that a DM would be difficult about. Yeah. I don't really care if my players change out fighting features. Every time they level up, I'm okay, you get to change one thing, and if it's really going to change your class, explain to me why or what happened in the campaign that would allow you to do so. And then if it's a good explanation, I just say, okay, that's fine. This is giving them the ability to go, no, DM, they said I could, so I'm going to. And they can't tell you no.
It's a rule in the book.
It's a rule in the book.
All right, and the last one is Nature's Veil. This replaces the Hide in Plain Sight feature.
Right.
And you can draw on the power of nature to hide yourself from view briefly. As a bonus action, you can magically become invisible along with any equipment you are wearing or carrying until the start of your next turn. So, briefly for one turn.
Yeah, which that is a great way to just, I'm in a fight I don't really want to be in. I'll turn invisible and run.
Yep, and you can do it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus.
Yeah. Or get advantage on something. This is just a very useful ability. Anytime turning invisible, it's very useful.
Yeah, you need to get out of a tight situation, turn invisible, run away for one turn. You need to safely guide your way through something because you want to get to a certain person, but you don't want to take all those opportunity attacks there. Invisibly through it. Or if you're just trying to kind of sneak around.
You're in a dungeon and you see a room full of giants and you don't want to alert the giants that they're looking right down the direction you're at. You can turn invisible for a brief second, run across, and be just fine without wasting any spell slots or any of that stuff. You just go, I'll be invisible really quick to get across. And that's pretty cool.
It's super cool. I really like that feature because you could also kind of play with that. As a DM, you could have a ranger on the wilderness, and it's like he's over here, and then he's over there. It's like, how did he get over there?
Or is there two of them now?
Yeah.
How I'm getting shot from multiple directions, but I never saw him move. There's cool ways of playing with that. So.
I would actually use this ability to make like a Jason Voorhees type villain. Like that would explain how he gets from like one place to another without
suddenly appears.
Yeah,
just standing there ready to murder you. Yeah.
But these are the optional class features for the Ranger, and I mean, these optional features make me really, really want to play a Ranger.
Yeah, I agree. I think these make the Ranger a more viable class option. Even though I thought the Ranger was good to begin with, I never had a problem with it, but this really does bring it for sure on par with all the other classes. Gives them versatility, gives them the ability to be useful at all types of games and different places, and they don't have to really focus, which is what the problem was with the other Rangers. They get really focused on something, and if you're not playing that campaign, if that's not what your campaign is about, that Ranger is not good.
If you're not hunting dragons and you're not in the desert, then your Ranger has greatly diminished the use of his abilities.
Why are you now in the Arctic hunting Yetis? Like, it doesn't, why would that Ranger be doing that? And then you have to wait for levels and then pick that up. By the time you pick that up now, you're all the way down in the South Sea hunting dragon turtles.
Yeah.
So, this just more versatility, more uses, more abilities that just promote the Ranger being a bag of tricks. Very useful in all circumstances.
Yeah, and I honestly think that these optional features kind of make it feel more like a Ranger. Like more like the Rangers you see in like Lord of the Rings or some other D&D movies or things like that.
Yeah, and definitely more what you would read in your stories.
Like the Ranger that helped Dritz become a Ranger.
Yeah.
I mean, he was blind, and I mean, he was just real good. Like with
Folio.
Yeah.
His name is. Yeah, and actually, this feels more like Drizzt himself than the actual regular Ranger. The abilities you get from here, especially the Deft Explorer, feels more akin to what Drizzt would be, especially now.
Definitely.
Than what he was before. I mean, obviously, it's starting out the underground. He was very proficient with it. That's the old Ranger. But now the new Ranger, he's just good in a lot of things. He understands a lot of stuff. That fits more.
And he's been around so many different environments that, I mean, he's good in all of them, not just one specific location.
Yep.